Welcome to Impact and Influence, the podcast for real estate business owners and professionals who are ready to make a bigger impact, scale, have greater sustainability, and increase their influence. This series opens the door to the sharpest minds across the industry, including agency owners, advisors, and trusted partners who share real-world insights and lessons learnt. These are short, practical conversations designed to save you time, sharpen your strategy, and help you build a business by design, not by default. If you're responsible for growth, profit, client experience, leadership, recruitment, or retention, this podcast is your go-to for smarter choices and more decisive leadership. It's proudly presented by REGROWTH. We are a coaching and consulting business for the real estate arena. We help you build on capability, connection, and curiosity. Hi, listeners. Jeremiah Antypas joining us today from iProperty Express. Now, listeners, don't worry. This just isn't a flog of a product or a service that will help you get scale and efficiencies and provide great client experience for your team or your customer. There is a little bit of that because we want to know a little bit more about iProperty Express, but we want to know who Jeremiah and the team is behind iProperty Express because, as everybody knows, at REGROWTH, we are all about the relationship and the people behind the brand. Jeremiah, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Kylie. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thanks so much for joining us today. First and foremost, because given I think 76% of our industry are selling principals, they'll be like, iProperty Express, what's that? But they should know. What is iProperty Express? What do you do?
Yeah, sure. So iProperty Express, probably more commonly known within the industry as Inspection Express, is basically an inspection platform. I reckon most people would have heard about it. It's basically an app that people use to do their property inspections. And the way we do it, or the way we allow these agencies to do their inspections, is the 360 inspection method. It's sort of taking the industry by storm at the moment. So there's a lot of chatter about it. But yeah, we like to provide, or we like to think we provide, an app or a solution for property managers to conduct inspections on their properties using, really awesome tech that basically helps them with their job day in, day out.
So I'll just anchor back to a couple of things that I said in the intro because I think it's important for people to know when we partner with suppliers that provide product or services in our industry, we actually have a DNA at REGROWTH or a guiding principles that we have to tick off. Those things include 1, how does it improve efficiency? So how does it save time for an agency? 2, how does it improve the client experience for the internal team? And externally, provide a better service offering for the customer, and how does it help us with profit? Now, we usually like someone to tick one of those, but you guys actually tick all 3. We have regional and metro clients, and one of the things that we love about yours as well is it doesn't matter where you are, if you're at the back of Burke or you're in Dubbo Bay, the system always works. So that's something I think with a lot of similar platforms that don't have exactly the same functionality is something to consider. But look, let's just break it right down. How much time do you save and how does it work and why is it different?
Yeah, sure. So in terms of the time saving, the easiest way for me to put it is rather than saying, it's going to take you X amount of minutes to do an inspection on a 3-bed bath property, I can't really say it in that way because every agency likes a different level of detail. So the easiest way for me to explain it is to give you some data that we've run. Now, we've got across Australia and New Zealand and the US, we've got about 4,000 agencies that use our software. We can see data on inspection times before versus after in terms of a standard inspection versus a 360 inspection, and we can compile all of that, which we did do last year. Mm-hmm. And what we saw when we did that was the original inspection time, so agencies that were doing standard inspections,
yes,
when they bring on the 360, it cuts that original time down to 30% of that starting time. So if it takes you 2 hours for an inspection without the 360, with the 360 and the AI, it's going to be about 40 minutes. If it's 1 hour before it, it's going to come down to 20 minutes. Pencil that in, I reckon, for time saving, in particular for entry and exit inspections. That's probably the most or the easiest way for me to explain it for agencies out there who are looking for time saving. That's what you get back in return. And that's real life data and stats from agencies who do use the platform.
Okay, so I'm pretty familiar with the platform. We'll put some videos in the link so people can go and see what it looks like.
Yeah.
And you were at our conference recently. But
yes,
literally, how does it work? So you've got to buy the specialized camera, correct?
Yep. Correct.
Yep.
So you have a little 360 camera. Yep.
Yep. And what you do, you get to the property and you scan it around rooms and it basically picks up the differences if you've used it previously and AI writes it for you.
Yeah, correct. So you're going into the property, instead of taking 100 odd photos on a phone or an iPad in every room and, ending up with tiny little pictures on a PDF report, you're bringing that 360 camera, you're just putting it down in the center of the room, you're pressing capture on your phone or your iPad that you're controlling the camera from. The camera takes the photo in 3 seconds. So a 360-degree image of the room is done in 3 seconds. And then you can, of course, take up close photos of areas you still want to show in more detail. But yeah, you just move through room by room following that method for your inspection photography. And then you hit a button within the app that auto-generates comments and AI writes the report for you. So, it writes a 4-bed, 2-bath property report in 1 to 2 minutes, give or take. 90 to 95% accurate. It's going to just do the bulk of the work for the property manager in a matter of minutes. And then, as you just said as well, if you're doing, say, an exit inspection, you can pair it to the entry and it pinpoints the differences. AI writes that out for you. So yeah, that's where the time saving comes in. Less photos, auto-generated comments, just makes the PM's life a lot easier.
Now, we are about going really granular in these partner podcasts because I don't want people saying, oh, yeah, we heard that at conference or we've heard that before. Carls, we need to know more. And commonly the questions we get after we refer you into offices is like, where do I buy the cameras? So do you guys have a partner? Do you sell them? Do you recommend where people should go?
Yeah, good question. So it is a specific camera or a model of camera, at least, that needs to be used or partnered with our system. Now, we provide the cameras at wholesale cost. So look, sometimes I have special deals on, whether it's the end of financial year, whether it's Christmas. We sometimes do really sweet deals, half price cameras, free cameras here and there. But for the sake of, being clear, the worst case, you're going to pay wholesale cost for the camera if you get it through us. We actually buy them in bulk from the wholesaler. And yeah, we move a lot of them. We actually moved more than JB Hi-Fi last year for this particular camera model across Australia, which was a cool, a little cool feat that we were pretty pleased with.
And can I just go to your website and do that, or do I need to speak to somebody?
Yeah, no. Look, they're on our website.
Okay.
We do have those special codes sometimes, whether it's a discount code or whatever it is. So, look, it's always worth checking. Maybe check with the rep who you're dealing with if you are someone looking to buy one. But yeah, everything's on our website. So wholesale cost. And the other thing is, if someone already has a camera, as long as it's the right model, you can use it and hook it up to our system. You don't actually need to buy it through us. You can use your own. If you have a contact at maybe JB Hi-Fi or the Good Guys, feel free to go and buy your own. You don't have to get it through us, but I haven't really come across it any cheaper than the wholesale cost we pass it on at.
Okay. Now let's talk about integrations with platforms and how that all works.
Yeah. Sure. So integration, we integrate with all of the main CRM or trust accounting softwares. And look, when I say main ones, Property Me and Property Tree obviously dominate the market. You've got Console Cloud, Managed, Colmio, some of the other ones. We certainly integrate with them all as well. Commercial ones even. So Released, Cirrus 8, we integrate with majority of them. And the way the integration works, to sort of summarize it in 10 seconds, we bring over all of the properties and all of the tenancy info from the relevant properties from your system into Inspection Express. You then use Inspection Express to do a range of things, inspections, document signing, whatever it is. And upon completion, those things you've done within Inspection Express will automatically save back into the relevant area of the trust accounting software for you as well.
Okay.
So, I was just going to say as well, other integration partners, we can't forget, Tarpy, for example, with maintenance, we integrate with Tarpy. So there are other ones along the way, but yeah, the main part of it is the CRM integration.
Great. So that was going to be my next question about what is the next stage or the next evolution? And then also what else is in your ecosystem that our listeners may not know about that they should be using or exploring?
Yeah, of course. So I'd absolutely say one of the main benefits about what we offer is our integration with Tarpy. So for those that don't know, Tarpy are a maintenance platform. Now, our sort of logic behind this, rather than us, going out and trying to build 5 different components of our software and just be good at everything, we didn't go down that path. We wanted to be amazing or the very best at one thing, and that's inspections. So what we've instead done, instead of going and building maintenance and this and that, we've teamed up with the best guys in the business there, Tarpy. So the two systems work really well together. You can log maintenance when you're doing an inspection. It sends it into Tarpy. It's a 2-way feed. All jobs from Tarpy then feed back into Inspection Express for you to see the status of the job. So integration there is great. And in terms of maybe some other little things people aren't familiar with, we don't just offer, 360 inspections with the AI comments. You can use those 360 tours for marketing. You can generate a marketing version and upload that into your listings on REA or Domain, and they sit in the image carousel of the listing, whether the property is for rent or for sale. So that's an extra little tool not everyone is aware of. And document signing as well, depending on what state you're in. We provide, lease agreements, management authorities, owner instruction forms, and so on. You can certainly do your document signing through our platform as well.
Now, I'm on your website at the moment. Yep. And there's something on there that I didn't know about. So I'm curious to find out. Yeah. Social media done for you. Tell me about that.
Yeah, sure. So we provide, and look, this I guess stemmed from agencies who came on board with us and they said, hey, how can we promote we're using Inspection Express to our potential landlords? It may help us win business and this and that. So we went down the path of building some little things which you can use on social media. And, whether it's a little stamp or a tile you want to put up saying you're an Inspection Express user, because now most landlords, most tenants across the country know what it is and they want their property manager to be using the best software. We also provide things like appraisal kits. We provide you with a beautiful branded up property with your company's details and your logo on it that you can take into a listing presentation, show a potential landlord, hi, Mr. or Mrs. Landlord, this is the level of service we can provide you if the agency up the road can't. So we provide little things like this. They can be used in social media. They can be used in person in your listing presentations to help you win business against, maybe another agency in the area who's not using a piece of software like this. So that's, I guess, where that stemmed from.
Okay, great. So we've got a bit of an idea about what you do and how you can save time. The quality of the product is great. Like if anyone hasn't used it, want to explore it, we're very happy to give you dozens upon hundreds of people that are using it to save time. And I think it's easy, which is great. But I didn't know about the social media stuff until recently. So that's a great value add as well. And I think the first time I heard about your proposals was actually at conference. So I'd encourage some people to have a look at that as well. I'd like to finish with two things, if I could, Jeremiah, if that's okay.
Of course.
Best advice when that you could give to perhaps BDMs or even salespeople that are listening. So you've got a sales team as well, and I think sometimes we don't lean into our suppliers to say what's working for you with respect to, selling or provide value add when you go out and see your customer.
Yep, absolutely. So look, from a sales or a BDM point of view and sort of not just within my industry, but sort of could be for anyone, the number one thing I'd sort of say or allude to would be just sort of constantly following up and always remaining front of mind. So look, anyone can apply that within any sort of industry, whether you are a property management BDM, whether you're a salesperson, it's going to be follow-up. Like if I'm chatting to an agency and, they might say to me, oh, we like the look of Inspection Express. We're not quite ready to come on board with it just yet. Follow us up in, 3 months. I'll make sure I put that in my diary. I will follow them up every 3 months and I'll follow them up till I get a response, whether they tell me to bugger off or, whether they do end up coming on board with Inspection Express. Just constant follow up and having that structured and making sure, you don't forget about things or people you've spoken to in the past. And I think that's probably pretty relevant for anyone in that industry, whatever sort of industry you're in, a BDM or a salesperson, it could be quite a useful thing to take on. It's worked well for me, so I'd assume it works well for others.
I think it's a little thing, right? But it sounds, they didn't call me back, so they mustn't be interested. We tell ourselves stories. So until you get a no, keep going.
That's what I do, and it's worked well. So I reckon that's my number one.
Okay, one more thing to finish on. If I'm a principal listening to this and I want to go and engage with my property management department head or my property management team,
yes,
what should I be realistically allowing to integrate this, get my team onboarded? How long would it take? And what's the resourcing I should put around it?
Yeah, sure. So look, in terms of time frame, it is as quick as an office wants it. Now, in terms of doing it effectively,
don't say that to our listeners because they'll be saying like, be here yesterday. So realistic to control expectations.
Yeah, of course. Now, in terms of the actual setup of the account, the process is easy. If someone was to chat to us and they say, yes, we want to sign up, we set your account up and we have it integrated with whatever platforms you're using within 24 hours.
Okay.
Now, from there, it is, a little bit up to the agency with how quick they want to get into it, because obviously there's training and there's onboarding, and you don't want to just have an app that you have, but you haven't done any training. You don't want to go out the next day and use it.
Integration, education, and rollout is incredibly important
for
our customers because we'll stuff it up and then we'll say it doesn't work and it's too hard. So we want to make sure. So best practice, think of a case study. You don't need to say anybody. What is one of the best rollouts you've seen and what would your handy hints be around that?
I would allow about a week to get the team trained. And the one thing I'll say is the only time I ever hear from people who sign up and then they, get in a bit of trouble and it doesn't work as to how they thought it would work is when they sign up and they go and try and use it without doing the training. The training's super important. We make the training really easy. There's a number of ways people can do training, watch videos in your own time, join the live online sessions, have a one-on-one session with our trainer. You can do it however you want.
Is there a cost in having one-on-one time? Like, is it online like this or do you get them into your office or what's available?
Look, we do offer in-person training. In-person training does incur a cost, and depends on the location of the agency as well.
I find most people are happy to pay that if they know it's an option, but I always ask because a lot of suppliers say now, but there's nothing wrong with it, but if we know going in, it's self-serve or there's induction videos, but you sound like you've got an option for all of it, which everyone will love, I think.
And that's why we try to cater for everyone, because every agency wants it differently. You know, some agencies just want to jump online and watch a recorded video in their own time and, you know, maybe come back with some questions once they've watched that. And again, we provide that. We give you a 30-minute Q&A session. As long as you've shown that you've done the online training, if that's what you feel you need, you're more than entitled to it. So anyone that's coming on board gets all of those training options. They are clearly communicated to the agency coming on board. And like I said, just to sort of recap from before, I reckon allow a week. You know, if you're a medium-sized agency, 200, 300, 400 properties, allow a week. As long as your team does the training, you'll have no issues with rollout once they have done the training and gone on from there.
Awesome. It is an absolute no-brainer, guys. It helps with efficiency, scale, profit, team experience, and client experience. All the details will be below so you can have a look, connect in with these guys. They're amazing and they're so easy to deal with. You deal with people, which is wonderful. Induction, onboarding, and integration sounds first class. Jeremiah, thank you so much for sharing your time with our listeners today. We are incredibly grateful.
Thanks for having me, Kylie. Pleasure to be here.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Impact and Influence. Click follow to get notified about future episodes. Leaving a review helps others find the podcast. And to learn more about our courses, our study tours, conferences, keynote topics, and our services, or how simply we might be able to help support you in taking you to places you never thought possible, please visit regrowthkyliewalsh.com.